Scott Peters, a Democrat from California. He also sits on the House Budget Committee and is part of the Problem Solvers Caucus. Let me first ask you, are negotiations going on right now? And if so, how are they going?
Well, good morning. I don't believe that they are. I think it's really a shame. And I would just point out, we're in this situation where Democrats have no power to call those negotiations. The Republicans are in charge of the Senate, the House, and the White House. And it wasn't until the day before September 30th, everybody knows September 30th is the funding deadline, that the president first called people in to talk and then didn't have serious discussions. He's known all year that he's had to get a few Democratic votes in the Senate. Instead of sitting down like the deal maker he says he's supposed to be and saying, what's it going to take to get a deal? All he said is just extend the date for seven weeks. And I think that's unacceptable in this situation because today, Sarah, people are going to start getting notices about the increases in their insurance premiums for healthcare that are taking place as a result of the big, ugly bill that was passed this year. So we got to get this done. We got to get to work, and there's no reason for delay.
Let me talk to you about what the president has been saying. He posted a second unhinged AI-generated video of Democratic leadership with him playing mariachi in the background. That followed the racist video he posted of Hakeem Jeffries in a sombrero hat. He also posted pictures last night of his first ever meeting with Democratic leadership this year, where he has Trump 2028 hats on his desk. You're part of the Problem Solvers Caucus. How do you problem solve with a president who is really busy trolling and taunting Democrats at this point?
It's really difficult. I do think it's really changed the context in a way we've never seen before. It was President Trump who said in 2013, he said as a citizen, he's criticizing President Obama. He said that the shutdown falls on the president's lack of leadership. He can't even control his own party and get people together in a room. A shutdown means the president is weak. And this president acts like a tough guy, but he can't get anything done. He certainly is not. If this is his idea of negotiating, putting out memes and sort of insults, I don't think that's getting us any closer to a solution. And it was the Trump administration last time. We had a 30-some day shutdown under the first Trump administration. I don't think he knows what he's doing. And when he says he's supposed to be making a deal, I've never understood how this is how you solve a problem, by throwing insults. You got to get people in the room. Maybe some short-term agreement could come out of that as you're negotiating in good faith. But to wait till the day before the deadline that you knew about all year, have a meeting, do a pro forma, for show meeting, and then blame the other side, I think it's a little ridiculous. They're in control of everything. Let's have them convene us and figure out a solution. We've got real problems to deal with.
Yeah, you make the point that the Republicans are in control of the House, the Senate, and have the presidency. But Republicans make this point that Obamacare health care subsidies that Democrats are insisting need to be extended now don't actually expire until the end of the year. Why couldn't Dems just, pass this short-term budget to keep the government open and then negotiate over the health care issues?
Well, it's true that they don't officially expire till later, but that doesn't mean that people aren't making plans now. I mean, health facilities are closing because they know Medicaid cuts are coming, and insurance companies are sending out letters literally today. People will start to see them saying your premiums are going to go up because of what the Trump administration and Republicans in Congress have done. So that's why we can't wait. We've got to get on this soon, or we're going to have irreversible damage for people who need health care in this country.
Are you worried that Democrats are actually playing into the president's hand, because he's been very clear that he wants to cut down hundreds of thousands of federal jobs, and he's promising mass permanent layoffs during this shutdown. He wants a smaller federal government. So do Republicans. Here is what he said about the shutdown.
So the last thing we want to do is shut it down, but a lot of good can come down from shutdowns. We can get rid of a lot of things that we didn't want, and they'd be Democrat things.
Are you worried about what he's saying there, which he's targeting Democrats and saying, look, shutdown's happening, so I'm going to make it worse?
Well, Democrats aren't asking him to do this. We're not asking him to punish federal workers because he's angry with how things are going and he can't get things done. If he does that, it'll be something like the DOJ situation where he found out it wasn't that, the federal bureaucracy, I think, is something like 4% of all federal spending. It's not like you save a lot of money, but the people who do those jobs mean a lot. And when you cut them, he found this out through Doge, often it doesn't work out like you thought it was. I mean, he cut the people who guard our nuclear stockpiles. Oh, we have to hire them back. And so we're going to go through that again. I don't think it's going to look very good for him. It's certainly not going to serve the country. And it's not going to get us back to the table and solve the problems that we need to solve. We need to be in the Oval Office with the leadership of all parties, talking about what it's going to take to get a deal to keep this government going for another year. And that's what the president's supposed to do. It seems like to me he's doing the opposite.
Congressman, can I quickly ask you your comments on what you heard from President Trump yesterday, suggesting he was going to use, quote, use the military against what he called, quote, dangerous cities as a training ground for the military? I know California has seen troops come in during protests. What is your take on that?
Well, I'm from San Diego, where we're very proud of our Marines and our sailors and our Coast Guard. And first of all, I have to say it has so bothered me to see the military around Washington, D.C. standing in metro stations with nothing to do. That is not what these young people train to do. They train to defend our country. And I think the last thing we want to do is training them with guns, 18-year-old kids, in our cities. I think it's about the dumbest thing I've ever heard. These are jobs for police forces. In Washington, if the president wanted to bolster law enforcement in D.C., the federal government controls the D.C. budget. Give D.C. more police. That's the appropriate role for the police. And the military is supposed to defend us against foreign attack. And this notion we're going to train our military in our cities seems to me dangerous. It seems to be counterproductive, and it misses the point of the military, which I guess you might expect from someone who's never served.
Congressman Scott Peters, thank you. Appreciate it. Kate?